Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Process Programming Summer Throwdown Update Show. My name is Ed Haynes, and with me in the studio/office, as always, is Ant Haynes. Ant, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
2 weeks is done, and we are here to deliver the final results of our 4 different divisions in the male and female categories for the Summer Throwdown. I think before we start getting into this, I think it's worth mentioning our fantastic sponsors that have allowed us to put together the biggest ever iteration of online competitions that we've done with the Process Programming. It is just the start, and we have plenty of plans in the pipeline to make this bigger and better every single year. But I want to give a real special shout out to the following companies who we partner with in many aspects of our business, but especially in this competition. Thank you so much to FitAid, WeTime for creating that amazing app that allows us to film all our workouts. Bear Bells, Noms of the Day, Clean Nutrition, Nocco, Earned Athletic, Biltong Chief, Bandit Coffee, and last but not least, Ultra Hemp. All of our sponsors have rallied together to create some pretty epic goodie bags for our podium finishes in all of our divisions. So if you are on a podium, folks, you have some goodies coming your way. Hang tight. We will be in contact very soon. But once again, thank you so much to our sponsors. We will list in the description below all the contact details for all those guys. If you want to reach out, please do so. And let's talk about this final week. What was the workout that we saw?
The workout was, again, a two-parter. We had our workout 2A, workout 2B. We had a 7-minute AMRAP of air squats and then into an ascending ladder of deadlifts and toes to bar or a hanging knee raise if in the live category. And then a mandatory 2-minute rest, and then a bit of a kind of a gut check with the 3-minute AMRAP of burpee box jump overs.
I know you were the demo for this workout. How did you actually find the workout?
I didn't actually find it too bad, to be honest. I
didn't go hard enough.
I did not go hard enough. Correct. Yes, I did not. I was keeping composed with the camera, and
just needed the victory against.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted the W after she called me out and lost big time. But no, I think it was actually really cool to see a lot of people, not only in our gym here at Coastal, but on the videos that we've watched, really digging deep and putting themselves back into that competitive sphere, which I learned a lot of people have been missing. So that was cool to see, and it was really cool to see other communities getting around people and cheering them on, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I think when we look at the overall calendar for most of the people who took part in this competition are involved probably in some way, shape or form in the sport of CrossFit. Our Live division, however, which we run here at Coastal and we run online and our affiliates around the world, that program actually isn't really catered towards the sport of CrossFit, but we do love mixed modal, the facets of mixed modal fitness, and we do incorporate it into the Live program to help people excel at life. So for a lot of those people, which is actually one of our biggest divisions, it was our biggest division actually this year, a lot of those people, it's the first time they've ever done a competition of any form. Now, when you look at the calendar, our CrossFit calendar is typically determined by the CrossFit season, and the next big thing for all of us is probably going to be the CrossFit Open in around February, March. So we are way ahead, kind of mid-season right now. But I think it's still really important that we do expose people to competition. It's a whole different skill in itself to, set up your camera, to hold movement standards, to have your name on a leaderboard, to have these kind of talk shows where you're kind of, put under the microscope. And I think, good athletes and good competitors are people who are practicing this stuff, not too frequently, but making sure it's kind of dosed throughout the year. Yeah, for sure. And I think for sure a lot of us in here have definitely seen more of a seasoned people forget about it because of COVID and whatnot. They haven't had to do this sort of stuff for the last year and a half, 2 years. So, phones not having enough storage, battery running out, tripods not being ready and they get knocked over, weights not being filmed, whatever it might be. I think it's, like you said, it's important to be able to practice that throughout the year, and what better time than now before we start to roll around towards the Open next year. Yeah, and I think, when competition time rolls around, you want to be able to essentially just focus on your performance and you not have to worry about all these kind of other little things that we've asked people to make sure they do, like, adhere to movement standards strictly, make sure you're filming all your attempts, make sure you're meeting the movement standards, and obviously the reps. There's a lot of repetitions prescribed in these workouts. I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with, actually, to hit the correct amount of repetitions. Sounds simple, but kind of when you're under fatigue, everything gets a little bit hazy. and you tend to lose track of things. So
for
again,
sure.
I think just a really great opportunity to practice all these things. And at the end of the day, the ultimate goal here was community and fun.
Yep.
Give the world something to have a little fun, have a little kind of play around with. So
For sure.
just on that note, just well done to everyone who signed up and took part in this. As we've said in the previous episode, by far the biggest participation we've ever had in an online competition, and we only foresee it growing bigger from here. So I think before we get into our official leaderboards, something that the team here at the Process Program is working quite hard on the last couple of days is validating scores. So essentially what we do is we start with the podium and we basically watch all the videos of every workout, and we have to make score adjustments. It's a lengthy, timely process, but it's an essential process if we want to uphold the standards of our competition.
Yeah.
And, I know, we kind of go back and forth and have gone back and forth in the last kind of few months or every time we run these comps, which is, how much leniency do we give people? And, essentially what we say is that, listen, like, we can't give leniency.
Yeah.
We have to essentially uphold standards as if it's a high level competition like we would at the CrossFit Games. And so perhaps, Ant, what is your take on that, and why is that an important thing to do?
Well, yeah, I think the fact that, as a competition, we provided not only a written movement standard, but also a visual video demonstration of how it should go and exactly what needs to be done. All athletes have the ability to ask questions. It's not like it's a closed forum and there's no help there. So we're always obviously able to reach out to people. And, a lot of people have come back at us with good questions, and when maybe we've included those back into the movement standards or let everyone know about it. But I think regardless of movement standards, I think, people should be striving to try and move as cleanly as possible. Whether it's an air squat, not hitting depth and then not standing up to full extension, whether it's the dumbbell snatch that slightly goes out to the side with a bent elbow, not full lockout, or not both heads of a dumbbell touching the floor, whatever it might be. I think when you're doing your training in your gym and whatever affiliate you're in, I think it's super important to try and take a bit of pride in making your training as clean as possible, so that when competition time comes, that stuff like the back of your hand, and you can just kind of rep that out and there's no second thought to it. And like you said, you can then allow your body to compete and allow your mind to compete, versus having to think, oh, I never actually knew about that standard, I'm going to have to go ahead and do this. And if you didn't know about the standard, give yourself 24 hours to maybe practice it, play about with it. When it comes to competition time, you throw down, like, whatever happens, but hopefully you've practiced that standard before.
Yeah, I think, when you throw intensity into the mixer, which is essentially what happens when people compete, is we revert back to default.
Yeah.
And if the default patterns you've been training with all year have been suboptimal or not as efficient or not meeting the movement standards, that's been defined essentially by this sport for many years now, that's probably where you're going to revert back to when you're under a bit of fatigue. And so I think for those of you who did have repetitions or scores adjusted, and to be honest, it was a lot of adjustments.
Yeah.
A lot of adjustments we had to do this year, which is it's not a shame. It's just a good reminder for everyone.
Yeah.
In our training, let's reflect the way we want to actually put some intensity into this, not only from a movement standards and a competing standpoint, but also from a health and longevity standpoint.
For sure.
Generally speaking, moving according to the standards is probably optimizing movement and moving as efficiently as possible. And so from a health perspective, it's also a good thing.
Yeah. I think just touching on that, for any of the athletes who might not know that scores have been changed, you will have been notified by one of the process programming coaches. Underneath your score, there will be a comment telling you exactly why why reps or times might have been increased or decreased, depending on whatever the score was or what the invalid movement was or the no rep that was given. So if you do have any questions, please make sure you do reach out to us, and we can obviously clarify that, but it should be pretty clear underneath your workout submission.
Awesome. So, Ant, I think without further ado, I think we should dig into leaderboards.
Yes, we should.
So we are going to start with the live category and finish with the elite category, starting with the male first, followed by the female division. We'll be starting with third place and working our way up to first place. But again, I know these kind of shows and competitions always highlight the top three, but it's, just seriously well done to everyone who decided to step up, put yourselves out there, go through 4 pretty challenging workouts, probably learned a bit about yourself in the process. So just want to commend absolutely everyone who took part in this throwdown. But on that note, let's go through the top 3 of the live division.
So live males to start. In third place, I know he was sitting pretty close to top of the leaderboard in after workout 1. But Tim Shush, who's been, I believe he's a part of Is he in Bengal?
Yep. So Tim is a part of Benko
Yeah.
SSC, one of our affiliate gyms over in Indonesia. He's one of the coaches there. Hasn't really been doing much competition at all with his fitness. So really cool to see him sign up, be a great shining example for his community. And he moves with fantastic standards as well. So well done, Tim.
Yep, Tim, awesome job. Then we have our very own Alex Swan, Swanee, as he's affectionately known here. Well done, mate. I know he's made a big step up in terms of his own fitness as well. So it's been awesome to see him, he's generally more of an ultra distance style athlete. So he's come on leaps and bounds in the last year. And last but not least, in first place, we have our very own Dixon Jim, who, unfortunately for you, Dixon, after winning the live category and absolutely smashing it, like Alex said, you will now be moving into the perform category. But well done for signing off on a great note. And I think, he did really dominate, and he really was quite impressive as he went through all 4 workouts.
Yeah, this is the second time we've seen Dixon clean up this kind of division. He actually took part in the gymless throwdown and did really well. And actually, since the gymless throwdown, Dixon's now joined Coastal, and he's following the process programming and not coming from much of a CrossFit background, but he's a fitness coach himself. He kind of moved into live category, and he's just been super consistent with the training, making really great progressions in all areas. And so we had the conversation, because it's important to remember that it's not necessarily beginner, intermediate, advanced. That's not how we view our live, perform, compete categories, but it's more just the goals of the program. Live is really training for health and longevity. But when you get into the perform, compete, and elite programs, these are for folks who want to be competitive in some way, shape, or form in the sport of CrossFit. So, there we're trying to balance health and performance. And so had the conversation with Dixon, is that something you aspire to want to do? And he said, yep, that's exactly what he wants to do. So Dixon, hope you enjoyed this last Throwdown the live division. We're looking forward to seeing you in perform in our next competition.
All right, we'll move on to live females next. Very much of a similar top 3 than we had in week 1. In third place in one of our affiliates from Tetsuka in Indonesia, we have BRIGATTA NAOMI. So well done for hanging out in the top 3 and putting up a solid performance there. We have our very own Rachel Andrews. Again, quite similar, I guess, background to Alex Swan in the live male category. She's very much an ultra style athlete, done loads of trail runs and stuff like that in the past, and naturally very enduring athlete, but also quite impressively strong for someone who does a lot of those ultra style events. So really well done to you, Rachel. And top of the leaderboard, we have our very own Mrs. Resilient Rainbow Sun, who has dominated the live female category, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, it's so cool to see Rainbow at the top of the leaderboard. She's been a really loyal client for a long time. If you didn't know, she plays a French horn. Music is her background, but she trains 5-6 days a week without fail. She's the only person who comes and does a Live 30 classes before the actual Live Perform Compete, uses it kind of a bit of a warm-up, but also looks after herself. And it's just so cool to see her actually step forward, do a competition, and finish on top. We talk about movement standards. Rainbow always moves really well. She never sacrifices intensity over movement quality. And again, I think that just goes to show here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so well done to all our live podium finishers. Let's move on to our perform category now, and we start with our perform males, third place.
So perform males, I know the leaderboard actually did shuffle up a fair bit with some movement and rep corrections on this after review. So in third place, we have THIAGO Eduardo, which again, if you've watched any of our update shows in the past, you'll recognize his name. He has been there since the beginning, so well done, THIAGO. In second place, we had David, who was actually sitting in first after week 1, who's bumped down to second place after some video review. So in second place, we have David Hughes. Well done, mate. And in first place, from New Zealand, we have Eremiah. Well done, buddy. I know he came in late on a Sunday to come and do that second workout with Jonty, his fellow Kiwi. And I believe he must have taken the W over him. But either way, well done, Eremiah. Great stuff, buddy.
Yeah, it's cool to see Eremiah, we call ET. Rugby is his background, but he's kind of transitioned into CrossFit style training methodology over the last year. And he's picked up skills really, really fast, put in the time to actually work on them. But obviously has that strong base level of fitness from playing rugby for so many years. I want to just give a special shout out to David, who I know he had some score adjustments on the leaderboard, which essentially knocked him down to second. It's his first ever CrossFit competition. So things like movement standards and all those things are very new to him. He took it really seriously. It was really great to see. I think he ended up redoing workout 1. I think he might have even redone workout 2. And no doubt he'll step away from his competition with lots of lessons and things to carry forward. But, I think just big things to we're expecting big things from David in the future if he keeps on.
Actually, very impressive with actually how he went through it as well. With, like you said, very little background in CrossFit. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he does.
Let's move to our performance females now, Ant.
Performance females, we actually had a two-way tie in third place with two of our own. So actually, it was a coastal cleanup from the Perform females. In third place, an honourable shout-out goes out to Steph Jones, who tied with our third place finisher, Charmaine. The reason why Charmaine pipped Steph to the podium or her third place finish is because she did have a higher finish, which was actually a first place finish, I believe, in one of the workouts. So we go off how high the last finish was. So well done to Charmaine. In second place, we have Rebecca Thompson. Rebecca Thompson was also one of our other athletes who's recently, I guess when you say recently, in the last year, moved from our live category up to our perform category. Again, she's always been quite impressive with her engine and her natural ability to push, again, coming from a rugby background. So that's really cool to see Rebecca up there in second. And in first place, we have one of our quarterfinalists actually from this year, from the CrossFit Open. We have Loxie. So well done, Loxie. I know she's been working super hard. She's been working with Alex Younger as well, who has a lot of one-on-one training as well, supplementing the Live, Perform, Compete program. So really cool to see you take away a win there, and hopefully your hard work's still paying off.
Yeah, I think a really strong podium from our Perform females. And when, we know these three girls quite well, and you dig into their backgrounds, all of them have pretty extensive sporting backgrounds. Steph, I know netball was her sport, but has been doing CrossFit for a really long time before moving over to Hong Kong. We have Rebecca, who had, years of S&C training. Her sport was rugby, and Loxie was a really high level tennis player. So it just goes to show you can't discredit the importance of training history. And for our Perform group, we do have those prerequisites for males and females. And so if you're looking at that Perform category and you're a female, you're thinking that's where I want to be a part of that. You just got to be patient, got to put the time in. And if you're someone who has sporting background, you've just got a massive head start on others. But well done to those three ladies for their finishes.
All right, move on to the compete male and female. So the compete male, I know there was a lot of changes in this one.
Actually, I want to pause you there. I think going through all of our divisions and going through the score adjustments, I have to say our ladies moved, generally speaking, really well. Our gentlemen across the different divisions, we have some cleaning up to do. So the movement standard generally across our male divisions, there was a lot more score adjustments, rep adjustments. So chaps, whatever our excuse, we need to do better.
Too much testosterone, too fast. Okay, compete males. Also from Hong Kong, not from Coastal, from CrossFit Asphodel, across the pond, we have Chris Lee. Again, Chris, awesome to see you up there. I know he's also a big supporter. He's done the Gymless Throwdown and done multiple other events with us before. So great to see you up in third place, buddy. Second place, we have from China, we have Elephant, Jianxu. So well done. I know he put up a huge thruster in the first workout, and actually really good to see someone like him who's a bigger guy do really well in like the burpee box jumps and more of a, let's call it an engine or endurance style workout. So that's really cool to see. And then we have from Bengal over in Indonesia, Joe Halim, who is the owner and one of the head coaches out there in Indonesia. Really cool to see him back into the competitive space. I know he kind of stepped away from that for a while, but really cool to see him take away a first place finish in our compete male division. Yeah, just kind of want to give a bit of a shout out to Joe. I think I talked about this last week on the update show. Joe's been doing CrossFit for a really long time, and kind of in the last 1.5 years, he decided to really take a step back in intensity and really prioritize movement quality and looking after, taking a bit of more of a holistic approach to his life. So, really dialing in things like nutrition and sleep and getting out in nature, self-regulating his training a lot more, and, focusing a little bit more on his strict movements. He follows the compete program, but, he's just very self-aware. And it's really, really cool to see. And I think this just goes to show that sub-maximal accumulation in the long run pays dividends when it comes to being able to express performance. When we say express performance, we mean that's where we're essentially pushing intensity higher than we normally do when we're in training. But if you can cultivate that amount of good quality volume, stay injury-free throughout the year, it allows you to still push and do really, really well. Yep. And I know Joe put a really big thruster load, so strength has really come on. But most surprisingly to me, seeing him in those capacity tests, finishing high up on the leaderboard, that was way more impressive. So, and I have to also say Joe's
Joe was the only male in the compete division really who didn't have any score adjustments. So moved perfectly well across all the tests. As a head coach to your organization, Joe, well done for setting those standards.
Ed can do it, so well done, mate.
I can't do that, no.
Okay, we'll move into our compete females. So compete females, a little bit of a change from week one. In third place, we have Hikaru, she was training with Keith, right?
Yeah, over in Port Tower, Kobe.
CrossFit. So that's awesome to see her. So representing from Japan, well done. In second place, we have mother of two, Emily Crutchley, who I know will secretly be stoked, even though she probably won't tell us that. She will be stoked with a second place finish here. I know she's had a lot of a lot of kind of competitive anxiety about getting back into the CrossFit space. For those that don't know, Emily was a past regionals competitor, individual and team. And since having her two wonderful kids, it's been a bit of a road back for her. Of course, there's been bumps in the road, but really cool to see Emily back up here on the second place. So well done, Em. And then in first place, recently out of quarantine, we have our very own Katie Reggett, who really pushed really hard in this second workout to hold on to it after a push from the other two ladies. So well done, Katie. Welcome back to Hong Kong, and congratulations on your win.
Yeah, and I think once again, just to say that these three females in the compete division moved fantastically well, didn't need pretty much any score adjustments. And, the higher or the more aged you get within this sport, movement efficiency becomes really, really important. It could be a massive separator on that leaderboard. So just want to say well done to all three of you for moving really, really well. Katie now has wrapped up this kind of division again. So maybe it's time for Katie to step into the elite division.
Amen, sister.
Yeah, we'll see what happens to her this season. She's got some sights on some kind of local and regional competitions. So, again, all three of these ladies, super consistent with all your work. It's great to see you guys up there.
So we're now going to move into our final one, which is the elite category. We did not have a female elite category this year. So
Not yet.
So we have our elite males. So elite males in third place over in Korea. We have, not at the table, Carlos Albaladejo. Well done, buddy. Second place and first place, both from Macau. First place is a head coach over at CrossFit XVI, Antonio Barrias. And then in first place, we have David Trabulo, who both train at the same gym. So really cool to see those two guys pushing each other in their videos and, taking part in this to start. But like I said, getting back into that competitive atmosphere and using each other to positively help each other their training.
Yeah, it's cool to see all three of these guys are actually a part of the process programming in some way, shape or form, whether it's kind of a combination of individualized coaching or following the elite program. And both Antonio and David, shout out to the gym that Antonio runs, CrossFit XVI, both coaches there. And I think, when you can have two great athletes in the same gym, it's a pretty unique environment. You have two people pushing each other, striving for the same goals. And it's just cool to see these two guys finish on the top of the podium. I'd love to see this elite division in our next competitions as we grow this program and grow the people who are part of it. I know we're going to see more and more people turn up, and we're going to see this leaderboard grow and hopefully become more competitive. So still, with that said, still proud to see three really great athletes, really big names in the sport, especially in Asia, be a part of this competition and to finish out the way they started. Thank you, Ant, for sharing the leaderboard. Want to say once again thank you and well done to everyone who finished in those top three, and well done to everyone who took part in the process summer throwdown. We have plenty in store for you guys coming up in the future, so you just have to keep your eyes peeled. We will be messaging everyone and probably bombarding you with notifications as we have something in the pipeline. But the goal is to make each of these competitions bigger and better. And so what we ask of you guys, if you took part, if you're just a spectator tuning in this show, we want to hear from you. If you guys have any feedback on how we can improve what we do here, if there's something you like, please tell us that you like it. If something you didn't like, please also tell us you didn't like it, and we can use that feedback to make sure that we're always growing and always evolving. And just want to say thank you so much for being a part of these process programming update shows.
Thank you.
Kiara behind the camera, who doesn't get enough airtime for the amazing work she does here. Thank you so much. Kiara is actually going to be leaving, unfortunately, back to university in the UK. So we're going to miss her and miss these productions that she creates for us. And of course, to everyone who's watched, taken part, thank you so much to all you guys. We'll see you here next time.